Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this Shoebill mask pattern pieces all fit together. And I'm also going to show you how to use the same pattern pieces but use it as a wall sculpture instead, because it has a back on it that you can put over a nail. Now normally this is the part of the video when I would say, hey, this is going to go together pretty fast, so let's go ahead and get started. But this guy's weird, and I did simplify it as much as I possibly could. But if you simplify it too much, it doesn't look like a Shoebill stork anymore. So there's a couple of places that are going to be a little bit tricky, and they're all right around, right here, this part, the center line of the bill. You're going to see me in this video. I'm going to do, well, they're numbered. I'm going to do 6, 7, and then 8, the piece in the middle. You might decide to do it in a different order. Whatever works for you, go ahead. The pieces all fit just fine. The problem with it is these two pieces here are springy until you get the rest of the pieces on there, and so it's a little bit hard to hold everything still and get everything taped on. It's not that big a deal, but it is a little bit tricky. And there's some real short edges right here on this little knob that goes on the front of his beak. It's really not hard, but you do need a little bit of patience for this pattern. So now let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do when you download your pattern is to print all the pieces. I put mine on full sheet labels just because that's the easiest way to get it onto the cereal box cardboard. And I don't use cereal box cardboard because I don't actually eat cereal, so I use this light chipboard. You can get it from Amazon.com. It's exactly the same thing. Now, before you stick it to the cardboard, though, there's a couple of things to notice. If you're making a mask, you obviously don't need the back for a wall sculpture, so just don't print that one. And if you're making a wall sculpture, you don't need the pattern pieces on page number 9, because those are for the cap that goes on the back of your mask. And I'll just go ahead, I am going to be making a mask, so we'll go ahead and put this on my cardboard. Now you can just use like a glue stick, or I guess if you want to, you can use spray glue. I would never use that in the house, but I guess you could. But I just think that the labels stick better anyway, so that's what I use, and it's so easy. And after you get them stuck onto your cardboard, you just go ahead and start cutting them out. It is going to take a while, so I'm going to take mine into another room and listen to a nice podcast while I'm doing it, and as soon as I get all those pieces cut out, I'll be right back with you. The pieces all have lines on them. Some of them have just dashes, and those lines are going to go, well, here's one here that'd be easier. It just goes up, usually just a little bit, kind of rounded, so that it'll be like a mountain. It goes up like that. And there's some that have dots and dashes, and those go in like that, like a valley. But most of the time, you can just soften up the cardboard and they'll just go where they belong when you tape them together. There are some places on this particular pattern where you do need to get pretty tight creases, like right here on the eye. It's not going to be real obvious when you're putting it together, so I will mention it in the video, and that way the next pieces down here will actually match up. So I'll let you know when those happen, but most of the time they just automatically go where they belong, and you can pretty much ignore the lines. This is the top of his head, and like a lot of the pieces, they do have cuts on the inside, and we're going to tape those together first. You just look for numbers. If there's 2 numbers that match, then you tape those 2 pieces together, those 2 edges, I mean. And if at all possible, go ahead and reinforce every edge on the back. So this is piece number 1. So there's piece number 2, and there's number 3 with a dip right in between 2 and 3 like that. So here's number 4, and when it's done, there's going to be a strong crease right there. It's going to go inward like that. It doesn't look like it wants to do that right now, but it will as soon as we get some more pieces on there. And there's number 5. On pieces 6 and 7, you want to bend this down so it curves real nice right there, because the sides of their beaks are nice and rounded. And you've got a line right here. It's the dots and dashes, and that goes up really tight. Okay, so it's going to end up looking like that before we tape it on there. The 6 and 7. And now number 8 is going to go right down the middle in between those two pieces. But we need to crease it in the middle pretty tight, not terribly, but some like that. And the wide end goes at the top right here between his eyes. But I'm going to start down here. I just turned it upside down and I'm starting out at the bottom. Then these top parts will just kind of automatically go where they belong. I'm going to pull this one over here. Patience is required. I remember I said that at the beginning. You have to be patient with this one. And now the center just comes right together like it belongs. And I'm going to turn it over and just tape those from the inside. Push everything together so that point goes right where it belongs. The one that's right in the middle. And reinforce that seam. There we are, 6, 7, and 8. You can see now that there's a real strong crease in this part of the eye, right there. There's number 9, and this little piece right here that kind of sticks out, it just kind of bends right around the top to make a kind of a soft curve around the front of his beak. And then this piece is weird. Number 10, you just put all those inner cuts together, and that's what it ends up looking like, and it's going to be an extension of number 8. So it's going to go right here. So now I've got number 10 attached up here at the top, and I'll do this long seam right here onto piece number 9. But you just have to kind of push it together right on that seam. And there's a big dip right there. Well, a little dip, but a dip. And then we're going to turn it over, and I'm going to make sure that I did reinforce that one like that. And then I can also, from the back, catch that short seam that's right there. Push those seams together real tight, especially right up in that corner that's right there. And then we turn it over, and it looks good. So I just reinforce it again on the front to make sure that that stays exactly where it belongs. Because they do, look up photos of Shoebill storks, and you can see this weird, well, I shouldn't make fun of him, but his little knob that comes right in the front of his beak. And then we got number 10 is all attached. When I put piece 11 on there, I'm not going to put this one on yet because I want a little bit more flexibility on this part, so that I can push that seam together right there, just like I did on the other side. And then we can go ahead and finish up the rest of it. And pull that little short seam together. And run the tape over the edge to reinforce it on the back. And we got it. The whole top of his beak is now all done. So we got 9, 10, and 11. Number 12 is his lower beak, and so it's going to go around like this, and it needs to attach, these little short edge right here attaches to the little bumpy thing, and so I'm going to tape this end first, and then I'm just going to keep going around, and that should be easy enough. When we get down to this part, I need to push everything together, and I've got it taped on this side. Now I'm going to pull it over and pull those seams together really good on the back too, because I want that corner to be real tight where it belongs. And this one too, there's another one right there. Somehow those are always easier to pull together on the back. And now we can just go ahead and finish taping that whole part of the seam at the very top. And just pull it up like that. So there it is. Reinforce it. There's just a little bit of a bend inward right there. That's why we had to turn it over. So there we go. Number 12. Number 13 goes on the same way. Number 14 just goes on the bottom of the beak. And the back of this bumpy thing, the sharp point, it doesn't have anything taped to it. It's open. So that's what 14 looks like, and it kind of pulls the beak together. There's 15 and 16. Those are the beginning of his cheeks. There's 17. That's the rest of his cheeks. And 18. And here's 19 and 20. And those are the last pieces you'll do if you're going to be making this for a wall sculpture. The back piece is cut out of corrugated cardboard and it'll fit right here. I am going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to make this one into a mask first. So if you want to see how that back piece goes on, just go ahead and skip to the end. But I'm going to put 3 more pieces on this one so we can put him on top of our head. Here's 21. And there's 22. That's the back of his cap. And 23. They come together right down the middle here. And now is the time to try it on, because if it's too big, you would cut down this seam right here and just overlap that seam a little bit so that it will fit a little bit better. And if it's too small, just cut it and then open it up and put a scrap of cardboard in between it, tape it back up, and then be sure to try it on again, of course, before you start putting the paper mache on there. So now you can see how all of the pieces for the head go together, and you know how to turn it into a mask. Now I'm going to show you how to turn it into a wall sculpture. This is the back here. It was made out of corrugated cardboard, you can see. And I've lined up this center line right here with the center line between 19 and 20. And I'm just taping it all the way around the edge. When you're putting the paper mache on there, you can put a little bit around the very edge, but don't put it in the middle here, because when the paper mache dries, it'll make flat cardboard warp. You really want a nice flat back, so don't put any paper mache back here. And now it's all done and it's ready for the paper mache. So now I've got the mask done and I got my wall sculpture done. I actually made 2 of them. And if you're making a wall sculpture, then this video is pretty much done. You don't need to know anything else, because we can move right on to the next video about putting paper mache on there. But this guy, we have to make sure that it fits. And I did mention in the video that you would cut it down the middle here and pull these pieces together if it's a little bit too big, or you can spread it out if it's a little bit too small. But there is one other thing that you kind of want to pay attention to, and it's different from most of the masks I made. And the reason for that is because the shape of this mask is so much different from the shape of our own heads. And I'm going to show you just a second here. This one fits really snug on me, and I could go to the party, I could dance, I could do anything, and I wouldn't need to put any straps on it. It fits really nice for me. But it does touch my cheekbones right here. That might not matter. Actually, having it sit right along your cheekbones helps it to stay put. So that's a good thing, but it might be uncomfortable if you're wearing it for a long time, or if you're dancing, you're going to maybe take it to Mardi Gras and be wearing it for a long time. So there's 2 things you could do. The one thing is just to put just a little bit of felt on the inside, right on those places, so that it sits more comfortably. It'll just be a little bit softer against your skin. The other possibility is to, even if it fits really snug like mine does, you might want to open this back up, spread it out, I don't know, maybe ½ an inch, not any more than that probably. Put in a scrap of cardboard in there and tape it all back up. Do all this before you put the paper mache on it, of course. And then put holes, one here and one on the same place on the other side, and put some straps on it. If you tie it under your chin, it's going to pull this part of the mask away from your face. It doesn't need to move very much, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and it would make it more comfortable. You'll still be able to see out, you'll still be able to move, it'll still stay where it belongs, but it would pull this front part. It's just, these shapes do not conform in any way to the shapes of our head. So the next video is going to be about the paper mache, and then we get to paint him. Obviously haven't done that yet, but I'm really looking forward to see how these turn out. I'll see you in the next video.